Have you ever felt that nagging sense that you're destined for something greater? That feeling that the world around you is shifting, that you're on the verge of a deeper awakening? If you're reading this, you're likely one of the chosen ones, those of us who can sense the winds of change blowing, not just in the world, but within ourselves. You are here for a reason, and it's no accident that you've found your way to this moment. The universe calls to those who are ready to rise, to embrace their purpose, and to step into the storm that is transforming the world. But how do you know if you're truly ready? The signs are subtle but profound, woven into the fabric of your being. In this series, we'll explore the 7 signs that indicate you are ready for this storm, signs that will help you navigate the turbulence ahead and become the person you were always meant to be. So, what's the first sign that you're on the right path? It starts with awakening your soul to the truth that you are here for a purpose far greater than the mundane. The awakening of the soul. It begins quietly, a whisper you can almost ignore if you let it. But the soul knows when it's time to wake up. For me, it was in the middle of the night, no different from any other time. The only thing different was the clarity. The moment I looked into the mirror, I saw a reflection that wasn't just of who I was, but of who I had the potential to become. I felt the pull of something greater, a purpose that had been dormant, lying in wait. It wasn't until I started to feel the weight of the world's challenges pressing down on me that I understood the magnitude of this awakening. At first, it was terrifying. The uncertainty, the fear of the unknown. What would happen if I truly embraced my potential? What if I wasn't ready for the storm? But something inside me knew that I had no choice. The call was too loud, too powerful to ignore, and so I answered it. That's what awakening is, a moment when you realize that you are not just a passive observer in this life, but an active participant, co-creating the world around you. The soul's awakening is your recognition of this responsibility. It's the moment you understand that the path ahead will not be easy, but it will be worth every single step. If you're here reading these words, you've already begun the awakening. You feel the stirrings of something larger calling you to step forward. But don't think it's just about you, it's about something far greater, a collective awakening of consciousness. Every time one person chooses to wake up to their soul's calling, they inspire others to do the same. The world changes when we choose to awaken, and the storm, it's coming. But with this awakening, we become ready for it. Embracing the path of authenticity. In a world so full of masks, facades, and expectations, the true power lies in embracing your authenticity. When I began my journey, I was afraid that being myself wouldn't be enough, that people would judge me, that I would lose connections, or that my life would become even more complicated than it already was. But the truth is, nothing felt more freeing than finally shedding the layers of who I thought I should be. I remember the first time I made a decision based on what felt right for my soul, instead of what was expected of me. It was terrifying. I chose to leave a well-paying job, a career that others thought was perfect for me, but that never felt like my truth. The relief was instant, even though the uncertainty ahead seemed daunting. I didn't know where the path would lead, but I knew I had taken the first step toward my authentic self. That's the essence of authenticity. It's not about making grand gestures. It's about consistently making choices that align with who you truly are, even when the world says otherwise. In those quiet moments, when no one is watching, when the external noise fades, that's when your authenticity can truly shine. It's about choosing honesty over convenience, passion over apathy, and love over fear. Authenticity is not just a buzzword. It's a way of being that brings peace to the chaos of the world. Living authentically means standing in your truth unapologetically. It's allowing yourself to feel vulnerable, to embrace your imperfections, and to stop pretending to be something you're not. And when you do, you start to attract the people, experiences, and opportunities that align with your soul's truth. The power of authenticity is magnetic. It draws in those who are on a similar journey, and perhaps most importantly, it sets you free. As you step into this path, remember that the world might try to pull you back into the comfort of conformity. But true peace, true fulfillment, only comes when we stand firm in our authenticity, no matter what. the strength to uphold integrity. Integrity isn't always easy. I learned that the hard way. Early in my career, I was faced with a choice that would have made my life easier in the short term, but it would have compromised my values. I was offered an opportunity that promised wealth and status, but it didn't sit right with me. Everything in me told me to turn it down, but the fear of missing out, the fear of being left behind, was almost overwhelming. Still, I chose to honor my integrity. I turned down that opportunity, knowing that staying true to myself would cost me something. What I didn't expect was how that decision would strengthen me and how it would begin to shape my future. Integrity is not about being perfect. It's about staying true to your values, even when it's inconvenient or difficult. It's about doing what's right, even when no one is looking. Living with integrity means aligning your words with your actions, creating harmony between your internal compass and your external choices. It's the silent commitment to your moral code that guides you through life's toughest challenges, and the world needs that now more than ever. In a time where it can feel like everything is up for negotiation, the strength to uphold integrity is one of the most powerful qualities you can possess. It's about standing tall in the face of adversity, choosing what's right over what's easy, and knowing that your principles are worth more than any fleeting reward. The beauty of integrity is that it's not just a personal journey, it's a communal one. When you live with integrity, you inspire others to do the same. You create a ripple effect of honesty, trust, and authenticity that can transform the world. Integrity is the strength to face the storm, knowing that, no matter what happens, you'll remain anchored in your truth. This storm we're facing is not just about surviving, it's about thriving, and the foundation of that thriving is integrity. It's the unwavering strength to stand by your values, no matter how fierce the winds of change may blow. Unconditional love as a force for transformation. There was a time in my life when I thought love was simply an emotion, something that came and went depending on the circumstances or the people involved. But I was wrong. Unconditional love is not just an emotion. It is a force, a raw, transformative energy that holds the power to heal, to change, and to elevate not only our own lives, but the lives of everyone we encounter. I remember the first time I truly experienced unconditional love. It wasn't in a romantic relationship or even a family bond. It was during a moment of pure vulnerability. I had just experienced a massive failure in my career. I was heartbroken, feeling as though I had lost everything I had worked for. I was drowning in self-doubt and shame. But in the midst of my darkest moment, a friend reached out to me. They didn't offer advice or judgment. Instead, they simply held space for me. They offered love without condition, without expectations, and without needing anything in return. It was then that I understood. Unconditional love isn't about being perfect or meeting someone else's expectations. It's about loving with no strings attached, loving someone for who they are, flaws and all. This kind of love, I realized, has the ability to break down the walls we build around ourselves. It's the kind of love that doesn't need to be earned, doesn't need to be reciprocated, and doesn't need to be understood to be felt. When we open ourselves to unconditional love, we unlock a deeper power within ourselves, the power to heal, to forgive, and to transform. This is the kind of love that breaks the cycle of hurt, of judgment, and of fear. It transforms pain into growth, hate into understanding, and scarcity into abundance. And it all starts with us. It begins with the love we give ourselves and then expands outward. When we choose to embrace unconditional love as a guiding force in our lives, we begin to see everything differently. We start to see the world not as a place of division, but as a place of connection. We stop seeing others as obstacles or competitors, and instead see them as fellow travelers on this journey of life. The world is crying out for this type of transformation, one fueled by love, not fear, one driven by understanding, not judgment. This is the kind of love that heals wounds, creates unity, and has the power to shift the very energy of the planet. And it's available to each of us, right now. All we have to do is choose it. Releasing the old systems. The old systems are crumbling. You've probably felt it. You've seen it in the news, in the struggles of those around you, and perhaps even in your own life. The old ways of doing things no longer serve us. But here's the truth. We've been living under these systems for so long that it can be hard to imagine life without them. When I first began to feel the weight of the systems, society's expectations, the grind of the 9 to 5, the constant pressure to conform, it was overwhelming. I felt trapped in a web of limitations, like I was constantly swimming against a current that wasn't going to let me move forward. But then, I realized something crucial. The systems were only as strong as the power we gave them. These systems were created by people, by choices made over generations, and we have the power to release them. The first step in releasing the old systems is recognizing their hold on us. For so long, I had lived my life according to a script written by others. I followed the rules because that's what I was told to do. But as I started to awaken to my true purpose, I realized that the rules didn't fit me anymore. They didn't serve my soul. They were holding me back from the life I was meant to live. The more I started to question these systems, the more I began to see the cracks. I saw how they kept us trapped in cycles of fear and scarcity. I saw how they divided us and prevented us from reaching our full potential. And I began to wonder, what would happen if we released these systems? What if we didn't need the validation of others, the approval of society, or the approval of those who held the power? When we choose to release the old systems, we make a conscious decision to stop living by someone else's rules. We start to rewrite our own story, one that's aligned with our true values, our true calling, and our true power. Releasing the old systems doesn't mean we abandon everything that has come before. It doesn't mean we disregard the lessons of the past. It means we free ourselves from the chains of limitation and step into our own power. It's about breaking free from the belief that we need permission to live our best lives, to follow our hearts, and to create the world we want to see. The power to release the old systems lies within us. It's about having the courage to step away from the structures that no longer serve us and to create new ones based on love, compassion, and authenticity. The world we are entering is not one of rigid control or outdated systems. It is one of freedom, of choice, and of self-determination. It's a world where we are no longer bound by the rules of the past, but instead, we are free to create our own destiny. And it starts with us, one person, one choice at a time. Taking back your personal power. We've all felt powerless at some point in our lives. Whether it was in a toxic relationship, a job that drained us, or simply the overwhelming weight of the world around us, there are moments when we feel as though we are losing control. But I'm here to tell you, you are more powerful than you know. I've been there myself, stuck in a cycle of self-doubt, allowing the opinions of others to dictate my choices, and feeling as though I was drifting through life without direction. But the turning point came when I realized that my power had never been lost. It had always been within me, waiting for me to reclaim it. The first step in taking back your personal power is acknowledging that it's yours to reclaim. No one else can give you your power. No one else can define your worth. You are the only one who can decide how you show up in the world, how you respond to challenges, and how you create the life you desire. It's so easy to give our power away, to give it to a job, a person, or a circumstance. But the moment you realize that your power resides in your choices, in how you show up every single day, everything changes. I remember the first time I consciously decided to take back my power. I had been in a relationship that wasn't serving me, one that was full of manipulation and control. But one day, I woke up and made the choice to leave. It wasn't easy. But in that moment, I felt something shift within me. I realized that I had the power to change my circumstances, to decide what I would tolerate, and to take ownership of my life. That's the beauty of reclaiming your personal power. It's the realization that you are the creator of your reality. You hold the pen to your story. Every decision you make, every belief you choose to adopt, is an opportunity to take back your power. It's about choosing courage over fear, strength over weakness, and love over hate. It's about deciding that you are worthy of your dreams and that you are capable of achieving them. Taking back your power isn't about dominating others. It's about aligning with your true self, trusting in your abilities, and stepping into the fullness of who you were meant to be. It's about recognizing that your voice matters, that your choices matter, and that you have the power to change your life and the world around you. The journey to reclaim your power is ongoing. It's not a destination, but a process. But every time you make the conscious choice to stand in your power, to speak your truth, and to act with intention, you create a ripple effect that transforms not only your life, but the world around you. You are the storm. You are the force of nature that can change everything. And the best part, you've always had the power. Now, it's time to take it back. Transcending karma and choosing your destiny. Have you ever felt like you were stuck in a loop, repeating the same mistakes over and over again? Like the universe was sending you the same lessons, each time in a slightly different form, and you couldn't escape? I have. I've been there, trapped in patterns that I didn't even realize were shaping my life. But it wasn't until I began to truly understand the concept of karma that I realized the key to unlocking my freedom. Karma, in its simplest form, isn't some abstract spiritual punishment. It's the energy we create and send into the world, and what we put out is what we attract back. It's the law of cause and effect, a cycle of actions and reactions. But here's the twist. Karma is not a life sentence. We don't have to be defined by the mistakes of our past or the patterns we've repeated. The moment I truly understood this, my entire perspective shifted. I had spent years blaming myself for past actions, for things I had done or failed to do. I thought that I was forever bound to the consequences of my choices, forever shackled by the weight of my past. But then I learned something profound. While karma may be a cycle, it is one that we have the power to transcend. I realized that transcending karma isn't about running away from our past. It's about embracing it with full awareness and choosing a different path moving forward. It's about acknowledging the mistakes we've made, the lessons we've learned, and the growth we've experienced. In that moment of acceptance, we break free from the cycle. I decided to stop playing the victim. I stopped blaming external forces for my circumstances and took full responsibility for the energy I was creating. It was empowering, freeing even. The moment we stop seeing ourselves as victims of our karma, we realize that we can break free. We have the power to choose a new path, one that's aligned with our soul's true purpose. This doesn't mean that there won't be challenges. It doesn't mean that the universe will suddenly stop testing us. But it does mean that we no longer have to stay trapped in the same cycles. Instead, we can consciously choose our destiny, one decision at a time. The truth is, we are the creators of our reality. We have the power to shift the energy around us and change the direction of our lives. We can decide to act with integrity, to break old habits, to release the baggage of the past, and to choose a higher path. Transcending karma isn't just about letting go of the past. It's about stepping into the future with purpose. It's about living with intention and making choices that align with the highest version of ourselves. The moment you make that decision, you'll feel the weight lift off your shoulders. The chains will fall away, and you'll realize that your destiny is no longer in the hands of karma, it's in your hands. So take a moment right now and reflect. What energy are you putting out into the world? What choices are you making, and how are they shaping your destiny? Because the truth is, you have the power to choose, to change, and to transcend anything that's holding you back. The past doesn't define you. Your choices do. And when you begin to choose with intention, you'll find that the universe will respond in kind. This is your chance to break free from the cycle and step into the life you were always meant to live. The choice is yours. Making difficult decisions for soul growth. There comes a point in every journey when we are faced with a decision that seems almost impossible to make. It's a fork in the road, a choice that feels like it could define the rest of our lives. These are the moments that test us, that force us to dig deep and examine who we really are. I've faced several such moments, and each one has left me with a profound lesson. But one that stands out in my mind was the time I had to decide whether to leave a relationship that had been a huge part of my life. It wasn't a toxic relationship, but it wasn't a fulfilling one either. Deep down, I knew that I was holding on to something that wasn't serving my soul anymore. It was like trying to fit into a pair of shoes that no longer fit. You can keep wearing them, but they are only causing discomfort. The decision to let go was agonizing. I feared the unknown. I feared the loneliness, the uncertainty, and the judgment from others. But there was a voice inside me, quiet but steady, that kept urging me to trust my inner knowing. It reminded me that growth doesn't happen when we stay in our comfort zone. Growth happens when we push ourselves to step into the unknown, to take the leap even when we don't know what lies on the other side. And so, I made the difficult choice. I walked away from something that had once brought me joy, knowing that in doing so, I was making space for something even greater to enter my life. It was a hard decision, but it was the right one for my soul's growth. It was a decision that required courage, faith, and trust in myself. And in the end, it was the decision that set me free. There will always be moments in life that ask us to choose between comfort and growth. These are the moments that define us. They challenge us to rise above our fears, to trust in our intuition, and to make choices that honor our highest good. It's easy to make decisions when everything is going well, but it's in the tough times, the times when we're faced with uncertainty, that our true character is revealed. Making difficult decisions for soul growth requires a deep trust in the process of life. It requires us to believe that even though we can't see the whole picture, there is a greater plan at work, one that is guiding us to where we need to be. These decisions may not always be easy, but they are always worth it. Because in making these choices, we grow stronger, wiser, and more aligned with our true purpose. So the next time you face a difficult decision, remember this: your soul is calling you to grow. It's calling you to step out of your comfort zone and into the unknown. And though the path may be challenging, it is always the path to your highest self. Trust yourself, trust the process, and know that the right decision will always lead you to where you are meant to be. Conclusion: the collective storm and the role of the chosen ones. The world is changing. There's no denying it. We are witnessing a collective storm, one that's shaking the very foundations of our societies, our beliefs, and our way of life. It's a storm of awakening, of disruption, and of transformation. But what if I told you that this storm is not something to fear? What if I told you that you, the chosen ones, are not only prepared for this storm, but that you are the ones who are meant to help guide others through it? I remember the first time I truly understood this. It was during a time of personal chaos, when everything around me seemed to be falling apart. I was struggling to make sense of it all, to find meaning in the chaos. But then, a thought occurred to me. What if this chaos was exactly what I needed to awaken to my true purpose? What if everything I had been through, every trial, every challenge, was preparing me for this moment? The more I reflected on this, the clearer it became. The storm isn't something that's happening to us. It's something that's happening for us. It's part of the process of awakening, of breaking down old systems and beliefs that no longer serve us so that we can rebuild something new. And the chosen ones are the ones who are here to lead the way. You, who are reading this, are part of this movement. You are part of the collective awakening that is taking place on a global scale. And while the storm may feel overwhelming at times, it is also an opportunity, a chance to rise up, to stand in your power, and to be a beacon of light for others. The role of the chosen ones is not to fight against the storm, but to navigate through it with grace and wisdom. It's to be the calm in the chaos, the guide in the darkness, and the voice of truth in a world that often feels uncertain. You are here to show others that there is a path through the storm. You are here to help them awaken to their own power, to their own potential, and to their own truth. So as we face the challenges ahead, remember this: you are not alone. You are part of a collective force of souls who are here to lead, to heal, and to transform. The storm may rage on, but we are the ones who have the strength to weather it. And together, we will emerge on the other side, stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the truth of who we really are. The chosen ones are ready. The time is now.